Well, posters plastered throughout New York City subway stations are stirring a firestorm of controversy. Here they are. As you can see, they read, "In any war between the civilized man and the savage, support the civilized man. Support Israel, defeat jihad." Well, critics see these ads as anti-Muslim and racist, and as you can see, they've made this known by defacing some of the ads. An Egyptian-American writer, Mona El-Tahawi, is among those outraged by the posters. Here she is in a confrontation with another woman as she attempts to spray paint over the ads.
I do, actually, and I'm doing it right now. And you should get out of my way. Do you want paint on yourself? Do you really? Okay, fine. Excellent. Defend racism. Defend racism.
Moments later, El-Tahawi was arrested and charged with graffiti and criminal mischief. The Metropolitan Transport Authority originally refused to display the posters, but a judge ruled that banning them would violate the First Amendment. To talk more about this, I'm joined by Ayman El-Sayed, co-founder of Existence is Resistance. Welcome to the show there, Ayman. So how is your group responding to these ads?
I mean, we've been supporting all the efforts of the different organizations and individuals who've been speaking out against the ads. We started a page on Facebook, Not in Our Names, Not on Our Trains, trying to bring awareness about these racist ads, as well as we've encouraged many people to call 311 and the MTA to file complaints about these ads, that they're hate speech and shouldn't be in our New York subways.
Okay, now these ads were put out by a woman by the name of Pamela Geller. She is the leader of this group, American Freedom Defense Initiative, and she is standing behind these ads. She's saying that this is her right to free speech. What do you think about that?
I think that she's very hypocritical, that she's using free speech selectively, only when it benefits her. She doesn't believe in free speech. She doesn't believe in other people's free speech and freedom of religion, freedom to worship, and their rights to practice. For example, the mosque in downtown Manhattan, she tried to stop that, even though it was constitutional, it was legal. What about other people's freedom of speech and freedom of religion and right to worship? I believe that she's being very selective with it. She's hiding behind the issue of freedom of speech just to promote her hate speech.
I mean, so do you think that she should not have been allowed to post these ads?
No, I'm not going to say she shouldn't have been allowed to post these ads. I believe in free speech. However, we have a right to speak out against these ads and to promote the Palestinian struggle, which is what we're trying to promote. These ads are trying to say that if you don't support Israel, you're a savage. It's labeling everybody who's critical of the occupation, of the blockade on Gaza, of white phosphorus, of cluster bombs falling on Lebanon as a savage, just because you disagree with that. So she has a right to put them up, but we have a right to speak out against it.
Now, the ads do say stop jihad, not stop Islam. So do you think that there's a difference there? I
mean, she's clearly anti-Islam. I mean, she's in the ad itself, besides the stop jihad, it says if you don't support Israel, you are a savage. So she's trying to call Muslim Americans, Arab Americans, Palestinians, just people who just don't support what's going on as savages. So her message isn't strictly stop jihad, and that word has a lot of different interpretations and different meanings to different people. It doesn't automatically mean terrorism, violence, what she's portraying it as being. A lot of people, jihad means waking up in the morning, going to work, taking care of your family, raising your kids, working hard. To a lot of people, that's jihad.
And she did say that, I mean, this word is a very loaded word, a very controversial word, to use the word savage. But she says that I've seen her in other interviews, she said that this word is more referring to those that, religious fundamentalists. Do you think that her using it in that context is acceptable, or do you think that it was just a poor choice of words altogether?
I mean, she could be critical of religious fanaticism, but it seems like she's only targeting one group, and that seems to be Muslims and Muslim Americans. And I mean, she's trying to say that it's only for religious fanatics, and why did you write, if you don't support Israel, then you're a savage automatically? That's not narrowing it down. That's targeting everybody who has an opinion different than hers. And we're trying to say that we want it to be known that it's the Palestinians who are facing occupation. They're the ones who are suffering, not Israel and not Israelis. It is the Palestinian people who are dealing with the everyday struggles, the blockade on Gaza, checkpoints, restrictions. And our organization, Existence is Resistance, try to bring awareness about this occupation. We try to bring young people from New York, from Chicago, to go down there, perform with the young people in the refugee camps. Many people have gone down there and seen it with their own eyes, what's happening to the Palestinian people. So her ad is just made to instigate hatred, racism, and it's going to cause hate crimes. It's a very dangerous ad. She may have a right to put it up, but it's a very dangerous ad. It's going to promote killings like what we saw with the Sikh community. They're not even Muslim, but people portrayed them as Muslims, and they started shooting these people up. It's very unfortunate that we have a person like Pamela Geller hiding behind freedom of speech to promote hate crimes and violence against Muslim and Sikh Americans and people of different backgrounds.
These controversial posters prompt this question. I mean, where do you draw the line between free speech and hate speech? Where do you think this line is?
Like I said, she may have a right to post them, but we have a right to speak out against it and to say that it's hate speech and to say why it's hate speech. You know, she's been out there defaming different people. She's defaming Muna al-Tahawi, who was just arrested recently for spray painting one in the ads. She's been defaming one of our co-founders, Nancy Mansour, of Existence is Resistance as well. She's been calling her a terrorist, a violence, and she's been calling our organization nihilistic, annihilationist, you know, calling Muna and us, Muslim Brotherhood supporters, Hamas, and all this stuff. So she's very good at defaming and generalizing on a whole group of people and making stuff up, honestly.
Okay, I do want to point out we are looking at images of the Egyptian activists and journalists being arrested by police while she's trying to spray paint over those words. What is your reaction to that? Her getting arrested for trying to cover up these controversial posters?
I mean, you know, I salute what she did. She has a right to speak out as an individual to do what she did. I know she's getting criticism from some people who don't believe that she should have spray painted it or defaced the ad, but that's her right, and I support her to do that. And it's unfortunate that someone like her, Muna, a journalist, she's got arrested. She's a secular person. She's well known. She's being accused on Pamela Geller's blog and Twitter that she's Muslim Brotherhood, that she's Hamas, that she's Islamic extremist terrorism. But, you know, we support Muna, and I'm happy she was released, and, you know, we'll try to support her on our court date. And it's ironic that here in New York, someone like Muna gets arrested, but then, you know, since it's the United Nations, we have someone like Benjamin Netanyahu, a war criminal, speaking to all these people, and nothing happens to him. Somebody like him should be arrested, not somebody like Muna al-Tahawi.
Right. And here in D.C., these posters, they have not gone up. Officials have decided that, especially in the wake of some recent events throughout the world, that right now is not a good time to put up controversial posters like these. Do you think that was a good decision?
Like I said, I support free speech. You know, I'm not against the decision. If it doesn't go up, it's not a bad idea either. She has a right to put them up, but if they don't go up for whatever reasons, whether it's law, whether it's rejected, then I'm not against that as well. You know, we're going to do our own counter ads that's promoting nonviolence, that's promoting Islam in a positive light, that's promoting the Palestinian struggle. So we'll be resisting with our own ads that you'll see in New York City subways very soon. Existence is Resistance is working on that project. And we want to put our own ads, and we're going to see if freedom of speech is acceptable when it's from our perspective. You know, she says it's freedom of speech, she supports freedom of speech, but I believe that if there was something anti-Semitic there, a lot more people will be speaking out against it and wouldn't be hiding behind freedom of speech. But because it's against Muslims, it's against Palestinians, it's against Arabs, it's tolerated, it's acceptable. And we don't want racism against Muslim and Arab Americans to be normalized and accepted. And that's what she's doing with this ad.
Okay.
So we'll see how much they tolerate free speech when we say free Palestine, end the Israeli occupation, jail Netanyahu for war crimes.
Well, we will certainly cover that when those posters do go up. Some say that when you see free speech that makes you angry or that you don't agree with, that's controversial. It shows that free speech is indeed alive and well. Maybe this is an example of that, but really appreciate you coming on the show. That was Ayman El-Sayed, co-founder of Existence is Resistance.